I never imagined that my marriage would come to this. I'm Ella, 32 years old, and I've been married to James for almost 5 years. We were good together, or at least I thought we were. But over the past 6 months, everything has changed, and I'm left wondering where it all went wrong. It's like we're strangers now, living in the same house, yet worlds apart. When James and I first got together, everything seemed perfect. We had a connection that felt effortless. We laughed together, supported each other, and genuinely cared for one another. We weren't perfect, but we were good. Our relationship felt solid. We had our routine, intimate, emotional, and physical moments that kept us close. But over time, things began to shift. It started slowly, almost imperceptibly, but eventually, I couldn't ignore it anymore. James started being more physically affectionate, but it didn't feel like affection, it felt like something else. At first it was small touches, harmless enough, but as time passed, I began to feel uncomfortable with his advances. It wasn't love anymore. It felt like he saw me as something to be touched when it suited him, not as an equal partner. The turning point came one evening when I was in the kitchen making dinner. James came up behind me and slapped my butt. It wasn't playful or loving, it was invasive. I froze, trying to process what had just happened. I had asked him to stop this kind of behavior before, but I had never said it in a way that made him understand the depth of how uncomfortable it made me feel. This time, though, I couldn't let it slide. I turned around and said firmly, "I don't like it when you do that. It makes me feel objectified." James looked surprised, almost defensive. "It was just a little fun," he said. "You're overreacting." But I wasn't overreacting. I wasn't being dramatic. I just wanted to be treated like a person, not an object. I needed him to see me as more than just my body. But that moment, that conversation, marked the beginning of a shift that I hadn't expected. It was like the floodgates opened, and the emotional distance between us grew. Instead of listening, instead of understanding how deeply I felt about this, James withdrew. He stopped being affectionate in any way that felt meaningful. The casual hugs, the gentle touches, the kisses we used to share, it all stopped. It wasn't just a physical withdrawal, it was an emotional one too. I started to feel invisible in my own relationship. When I tried to talk to him about it, he didn't get it. "I'm just respecting your space," he would say. "You asked me not to touch you like that, so I'm giving you the space you wanted." But it wasn't about him not touching me. It wasn't about him completely shutting down all affection. It was about balance. I wanted him to respect my boundaries, but I also wanted to feel loved, wanted, and cared for in a way that wasn't just physical. I wanted him to see me for who I am, body, mind, and soul, not just as someone to touch when he felt like it. Days passed, then weeks, and still, nothing changed. I felt like I was talking to a wall. When I expressed how much I missed being close to him, how much I missed the affection we used to share, he seemed confused. "I'm just trying to respect your boundaries," he would say. But it wasn't about respecting my boundaries. It was about understanding my needs. I wasn't asking for no affection. I was asking for affection that felt real, that felt respectful. 6 months went by without a single kiss. 6 months without any intimacy, even the smallest gestures of love. I started to feel like I was living with a stranger. The emotional distance between us grew so wide that I began questioning everything about our relationship. Was I asking for too much? Was I wrong to want affection and intimacy? Was I unreasonable for wanting to feel desired and respected as a person, not just as his partner? The silence between us became unbearable. I started doubting myself, thinking maybe I was being too sensitive or expecting things that weren't possible. But then I remembered how things used to be, how I used to feel when we were close, when he would kiss me for no reason, when we would talk for hours, not just about logistics, but about our dreams, our thoughts, our lives. That connection felt real. This cold distance did not. It hit me one day, standing in our living room, that I hadn't been kissed by my husband in months. And the worst part? He didn't seem to care. He wasn't trying to make things right. He wasn't fighting for us. He was just going through the motions, existing in the same space as me, but emotionally absent. I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't keep pretending that everything was fine when it clearly wasn't. I had asked for respect, for boundaries, and instead I got a complete withdrawal from any kind of meaningful affection. I wasn't asking for the world. I just wanted to feel like I mattered, like I wasn't invisible. I had to face the painful truth. I couldn't keep waiting for James to change. I couldn't keep hoping that one day he would realize how much I needed him to see me, really see me as a whole person. I couldn't keep living in a marriage where I had to beg for the basics. It wasn't easy, but I had to start respecting myself enough to acknowledge that maybe this relationship wasn't healthy anymore. I deserve to be loved and respected in a way that makes me feel valued, not just in a way that fits someone else's comfort. And I couldn't keep pretending that what I was getting was enough, when I knew I deserved more. If you find yourself in a situation where you feel unheard or invisible in your relationship, remember, you deserve more. You deserve love, respect, and affection in a way that makes you feel whole, not just as a partner, but as a person. Don't settle for anything less than what you deserve. You are worthy of love that respects all of you,